up with able as it has indeed been able, in the last 15 years, to reconstruct itself, tear down buildings and raise great new ones, downtown and for money, and has done nothing whatever except build housing projects in the ghetto.
Come on, Fiyah. When you told me, Fiyah Angelou, that James Baldwin asked to be here, I hated you for saying that. I really did. I really did.
Listen.
And we need just a moment to thank James and all his ethereal beingness, because literally he showed up for us in the midst of technology. If I know that you do your little hoodoo, your little stars are aligned. Yo, I don't know what's going on with the technology, but it was annoying my soul.
Listen, I don't know what it is, but whenever I like link up with other writers, or it's something about how James Baldwin is like, I want to show up, I want to be there. So interesting. Like I just put the offering out, and then that glitch happened.
Yep, that glitch happened big time. We was ready to go, and then all of a sudden it was like, your Zoom cannot connect to your Facebook Live, and I was like, there's a problem here. And what you told me earlier when you called me, you was like, I just want to tell you that I want to give an offering to James Baldwin. And I was like, what the fuck? Thanks, or whatever. And then as soon as you started playing him, the thing said, if you have an issue, clear your cache, especially if you use Zoom within the past 2 weeks. You know, I cleared it for 14 days, and all of a sudden, woo! Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Sorry we're late. Sometimes during a pandemic, anxiety sets in, and then technology fucks up on top of that. And I'm a Pisces, and I do not know how to deal. Welcome, my fellow Pisces.
Yes.
Today we're finding Angelou.
Yes, Pisces.
I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you. You don't understand.
Okay. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh.
No, just turn down the volume. That's all.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
I got you.
Just turned down the volume.
I got you.
Okay.
So I think about all the things you are, and I went ahead and I put them in the description. I posted your payment links. Thank you. My homegirl just brought me crab cake. Social distancing. She slid it across the table. Where is she? I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So I think about who you are. And I commented in the status in the description that you are an activist, a performer, a lecturer, a workshop facilitator. So I missed your workshop, and I wish someone would have recorded it so bad. You are a storyteller, a host, an accomplished trainer, an energy worker. We're going to get into that. A writer, a poet, a root worker, a hoodoo practitioner, a ritualist, a minister, a warrior, a mentor, an auntie, and a mother. Welcome, Fiyah Angelou, to the full set. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you.
Yeah, thank you. This is what's up. Thanks.
So I want to get right into the proceedings this evening. I feel like I just want to honor the space by saying, like, I get anxieties about being late. And I think about something Adrienne Maree Brown said. She said, there is always enough time for the right work. She said, there is a conversation in the room that only these people at this moment can have, so find it. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. I'm gonna try not to have favorites, but I've been looking forward to this conversation all week just because of where I've been feeling and what's been coming up for me. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna get right into it because I feel like, for me, I need you to explain to me metaphysics. I don't understand what that word means. Every time I think, like, no, not saying that you got to explain metaphysics to me. I'm saying this weird place that you be in when I watch your Facebook lives and you be smoking your weed and you be like, James Baldwin was a freedom fighter and look at me levitate. And I'm like, wow, I need to know you more. How did you How did you get to the state of being centered that you're at right now?
It's just letting go of the fear of being weird. I got caught being weird so many times early, like being the person that daydreams just a little too much, being that person that's just a little bit too into the story,
Right.
always being that one. One day I just let go and I just went way out there somewhere. And as I feel like you feel it though, because you're a Pisces. And this is not,
I need you to mind your business. This is not
like, this is not strange.
It's not strange.
Like, you have your own version of this. Yeah.
I am a weirdo. I'm so weird that I literally will sit in my bed naked with the covers wrapped around me. And instead of getting up and getting dressed, I will go downstairs with said blanket and just go do what I got to do in the kitchen. I'm a weirdo. You ain't got to tell my business to the internet. I'm a weirdo. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just like in different ways, right? Like,
I like fried chicken in the morning.
I openly like turn on my camera and I'm like weird in front of it.
Okay.
And I said,
Erica Bowman says she feels like you letting go of being judged. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know who could judge you. You're so amazing. I have to thank you again for bringing in the spirit of James Baldwin. Like, did he like reach out to you?
Yeah, he did, and he does. He does. Usually, like I said, when if I'm taking an airplane somewhere, or if I'm doing some type of like gathering and having like enlightenment or discourse, he's into that and likes to come along.
All right, ancestors. Ancestors have been a theme this entire series so far.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with it. I want to ask you, knowing what you know about my podcast, that I ask people to come on, I'm like, talk your shit. That's what we're here for. Like, we in the midst of a pandemic. How do we create a bubble? How do we share that bubble with other people who may be watching and listening? And I kind of feel like you have your own podcast inside of you. So what would be your podcast name if you could come up with a theme?
I don't know. I probably would call it like Alter Space or something like that, like Alter Space. So
like ALTAR.
Yeah. And I probably would I would want to talk about like archetypes in our community. I would want to like uplift the voices, the activists, the artists today, connect them. I think it's really important to like document what's happening with the conversations and the relationships between the artist and the activist.
Okay.
Who are holding up this movement and the healing folk, all of that.
Okay.
So I would like to have a space for that. On the shadow side, if I had like a shadow podcast, it would probably be more like some type of like woke book TMZ or something. Black
I'm working with you on that because I'd be wanting to expose everybody, and then I'd be like, what happens when what's the dude Harvey Levin? What happens when that nigga gets exposed? I'm like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be Harvey Levin when it happens.
Yeah, no, I would definitely want to keep it cute. I would definitely want to keep it cute.
So like Shade Room meets the Disney princesses.
Yeah,
Got it.
But
a lot of people upset with the Shade Room.
on the up and up, definitely Alter Space.
And Alter Space. I like that. I like that a lot. When is I've been trying to remember, a lot of y'all have been following for years. You already know You hate when I tell the story. The first time I ever came across your page, I was like, who is this Fiyah Angelou? Okay. It was when you wrote about the ratchets. And I was like, it's me. But she didn't have to call us out like that. You know? And I shared it. And I remember people being like, thank you for sharing this. I'm like, don't thank me, thank the bitch who wrote it. And then I started following you because I was like, people love you. What do they love about you? Let me go follow. Let me go see, you know? And you shared with me that since you've written that, you've grown. Like, you know, you just in a totally different space. And sometimes, I don't want to misquote you, you feel like it annoys you that people still like share this post that you wrote so long ago. Why is that? It's such a poignant post.
You know, I'm in a different place, right? I totally respect, adore, admire, trust the version of me who wrote that, and appreciate the opportunities that it gave me, because I knew when I wrote it, it was gonna open up to me like places and intersections of Blackness I had never explored. Like I knew I was about to gain like access into that. And I was about to learn more about who I omitted from that entire thing.
Okay.
You know, even the versions of myself that were omitted from that entire thing because I didn't know they existed. And that is what happened. So I got the opportunity to get training, to get healing, to get language, so that I could really bring to life what it was that I was calling forth. I was calling forth for something, you know.
Were you calling forth for your own rebirth?
My own, for the opportunity to free a bunch of us from shame. From like shame that was like trying to like shackle us and like kill us, and guilt, and like I was just trying to free us in some way. Cut off like one piece of shackle, you know.
No, I totally get it. And I feel like sometimes the onus is placed upon us, right? To be the authority on how to free ourselves. And I appreciate that you said that was just a facet of like where I was. And it doesn't define me as, I feel like I hear you saying it doesn't define me as a whole being something I wrote in fucking 2016. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, was it 2016 you wrote it?
It was absolutely 2016. Okay. It was absolutely.
I'm actually gonna try to share the post. I know you hate when people share it, but I'm gonna link it.
No. Like I'm so in a different place with that now. Like share it, you know. Okay. Like I said, really honoring the version of myself that wrote that. It still means a lot. And there are still people who are connecting with me because I wrote that.
Right.
They're meeting me here.
Right.
But it's because I wrote that. And that's what's up.
Have you met yourself? Where you at?
I do.
Okay, talk about it. I feel like you. Okay,
but I'm not. You know, I'm not able to really have the resources I need to build the connections so that they can access what it is they need, you know?
Okay.
And a lot of times that's just like immediate needs being met. I remember when I was looking for my own healing and just being like so heavy that whenever I got access to any type of healing space, I was looking for someone, you know?
Right.
And the most, you know, like bitches who had all these accolades and was like priestesses and shit was giving me book lists. They was telling me to read books. And I was like, bitch, no, like some some shit just went down. Like some trauma happened and some type of spiritual awakening is happening. There are a bunch of ancestors out there. I don't know what to do, and you are going to email me a list of books to read. I don't want to do that to nobody.
Right. That's valid, and I appreciate that, because I think about when you say that, like, people are going through trauma, I feel like a lot of times, even myself, we just have a prescription, and the prescription don't fit all, you know, even though we're like, no, I'm the authority on trauma because I know my own, right? And it's like, we have to stop being elitist when it comes to trauma. Like, we literally, I love the post because I didn't know that you was excluding certain folk. I didn't know that in 2016, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
and that was my entry. That was my entryway into Black feminism, actually, through that post, because I was like radical and I believe that Black Lives Matter. And I was cursing out white people, but I didn't have the language to talk to myself about myself. And so I think that that's why I appreciate just where you at with it now. Like, you know, like, and I appreciate this whole conversation about what it means to be Black and what it means to be queer, because a lot of people who are not queer, they don't understand the conversation, so therefore they don't want to have it. And then they accuse you of being left out of the conversation, right? And so I appreciate just like all the space that you're holding now for your full self, and I appreciate that. And I want to talk to you because, oh no, you ain't got to thank me. We in this together. I want to ask you that you and I have both been very open about being polyamorous people, right? And where do you land on the scale of being polyamorous in both your romantic relationships and in your friendships?
I am polyamorous as fuck. Like, I mean, but more on the platonic, queer platonic end. So most of my
are you asexual?
No,
bitch, you be fucking. I already know.
Yeah, but most of my relationships are platonic or queer platonic. I don't have a lot of romantic relationships.
Okay.
If I do, they are another leg of my polyamory is like romantic relationships are not vanilla for me anymore.
What do you mean?
I don't want vanilla romantic relationships anymore.
You don't want some nigga sending you flowers. You want a nigga to put the ball and chain, or did I take it too far?
Both ends, but only both, not just the flowers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I hear you. I see you out here in these internet streets. Okay.
Yeah, like definitely, you know, bring all of the Gomez, all of the Cab Calloway to the situation, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, because I just want to let folks know straight off the bat that because it's Freaky Friday, this podcast was brought to you as a reminder to respect the kinks in other people's lives by our sponsors. Thank you.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, so I mean, sex, like, you know, we talk about it. We say we pro-ho, we say we're sex positive, but like, what does it actually mean to be sex positive? What does it actually mean to be pro-ho?
Yeah, you know, I've seen that called to the carpet so many times, you know, by people who said that they were pro-ho, and when they looked at me as a baby mama and they saw me go on a date,
right,
they were not so pro-ho.
Oh, you a ho-ho.
Yeah, like it's very limited to who pro-hoism or sex positivity seems to be allowed. I don't find in my intersections and carry motherhood that it's a lot of room for me to like have joy in that way. So that's why I feel like being solid about, hey, like I don't even want no more vanilla relationships. I don't even want to try y'all monogamy no more. I don't even want, you know, just I'm going for what is the best for me at my intersection.
Okay. And what do you say to people? Yeah, because I'm gonna fucking fight you about my intersection. What do you say to people who would say to you, because you're a minister too, and so what do you say to people who are like, well, you know, my faith says that you only being pro-ho because you feel like you have no other options and that's the only way to exercise control. You know, like, what do you say to those people? Like, as if you do not have control over yourself because you like to place your body in situations which you can control.
I mean, here's the thing. Since I've been actively, like, openly polyamorous, since I've been intentional about non-monogamy, relationship anarchy,
Right.
BDSM, since I've
Oh,
been
we're gonna get into
intentional about
relationship
those things,
anarchy. I can't wait.
I've had fewer partners than ever. I don't, it's interesting to me how people equate that with having so much sex. It actually has
Or
become
so
more
much
about,
sexual partners. Right.
yeah, and it's so much more about my feminism being about being a better friend to the the queer Black people who I'm friends with.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
putting my energy into that is important to me. Like,
Okay.
trying to do that work. So that is a part of my polyamory. I feel like my platonic relationships are just important in that way. But I say all that to say that this is what's been healing for me. And it has been fewer partners, um, more safety, my
Okay.
physical safety, my emotional safety. Like, this is what has worked for me. It's probably different for everyone. It
Okay.
is different for everyone.
It is different for everyone. And so when
So I
people talk
just
about
respect that.
polyamory, like, do they feel like it's like a one size? I appreciate that you said that. People, it's just been my experience. Like, so because I'm pro ho, I think about somebody like Megan Thee Stallion. I think somebody wrote a think piece about it. And when I say think piece, it was a Twitter status. But I look at Twitter status as a think piece. Don't fuck with it, right? And so somebody wrote a tweet and they was like, what an amazing quote. What an amazing thing it is to be someone who profits off the pro ho industry. And yet the first time you're questioned about your free sexual acts, you're like, no, wasn't me. I don't engage in hoery. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel bad because I think Megan's a very nice girl. And I do think that she believes in pro ho politics, but I'm not sure that she exacts them. I have a saying, everybody want to be pro ho until some hoe ass shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like, you fuck my partner, you a hoe. And what did you like? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I think that what you're saying to me is, though, your politics, your queer politics have informed your pro ho-ness. Like, it's not like you just out here. I feel like for me, there's this gentle balancing act by it. Like, I feel like, yes, you could do whatever you want with your body as long as you have consent of someone else's body, right?
Right.
And I do find that the more I develop my politics, the less fucking of other people I'm having. So it's a monogamy to myself, actually. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's wild, right? It's like I can have multiple partners, but I'm actually in a deeper relationship with myself. So it's like I'm actually being more selective with who I choose to.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And there is that.
Yep.
So I appreciate you even bringing that to the forefront. Now, when you talked about, you said that it was relationship anarchy. What the fuck? I think of like a whole bunch of, I feel like a Trump supporter, and I'm like, it's relationship Antifa. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is you talking about?
Listen,
What is that?
When I first conceptualized relationship anarchy, I just saw a bunch of niggas running through the house, just running through the house in different directions. Somebody ain't got on nothing but a bath towel, somebody playing the game, just all types of shit. But really, really what it is for me, you could go out there and Google and you will get the very surface, like, definition that applies to most of the cishet white folks who are going to be
I knew you was going to talk about white people. Come on now.
Okay.
Come on, Fiyah.
But as for me and my house,
we will serve the queer Lord. Come on.
What it means is this. It really means that it's my way of acknowledging that at my intersections, I don't have access to monogamy that will allow me to prioritize my relationships with Black marginalized gender folks.
Can you say that again? I need to hear that again.
At my intersections, I do not have access to healthy monogamous relationships that will allow me to prioritize my relationships with Black marginalized genders. That's just what my life experiences have taught me.
Right.
That whenever I've engaged in those kind of relationships, I've had to devalue my relationships with women, with queer folks, with other genders, and that don't sit right with me today. And so being able to practice non-monogamy, relationship anarchy allows me to show up for my friends when I need to. You know, it allows me not to pull a Shantae's got a man at home.
Shantae do got a man at home, and he is so good to me.
I don't want to do that.
You gotta see Janae Johnson perform that shit though. She's so funny. She's a queer poet. Used to be from Boston, but now live I think in like LA, Oakland, whatever. LA and Oakland, kind of the same place to me. I don't know, geography wise. And she does like the queer karaoke. And so she'd be on Insta, like she'd be like, he always treats right. It's so cute. I love her to death. So yes. All right, sorry. Shantae,
I don't want to do that.
Saying you don't want to do that.
Okay. And I've done it. Right. Let me acknowledge that I've done it. And there are people who are still friends with me over the years of experiencing having me discard them for these kind of relationships. So I don't even put myself in a position to have that happen anymore. So it basically
is it a relation? You know, Anna Smith said it's a relationship jealousy that cishet men really feel like. In my experience with them, it really feels like to me that because they're not sure of their own belonging, and that's actually not my work. I used to disagree with a lot of Black feminists who would be like, it's our work to like both and, because it is a woman's problem if we can't help the men fix themselves. And I was like, you're never too poor to contour. I'm not trying to talk about these niggas. Like, I don't give a fuck about them. You know what I'm saying? And I have to contend with that now that I'm getting older. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
so weird. Relationship anarchy to me as a concept that you introduced is wild because of the way you introduced it into its Blackness, right? And like its place in Blackness. And I stand.
Thank you. Yeah. So that's been important to me. So that's what my relationships looks like today. And I don't know what that's gonna evolve into in the future. But like you said, it makes me more careful about who I'm with, because I'm not just accountable to myself. Like, I'm thinking about how the energy of a person will affect how I'm loving other people. Like, I notice when certain people love me, I love other people better. I notice I can incorporate that into my practice of loving, and I could become a better lover. So I don't know where my relationships will be in another, 2 years or 5 years.
Okay.
But I do see myself being open to connect with many others.
Thank you for sharing that. It's like, it's weird because I know a lot of people struggle with polyamory and what it means, not polygamy, and all the other things that people think it is. We're not sex rep. Well, sometimes, it's so wild. Let me tell you something. I can't expect my guests to not be like vulnerable if I don't share my own. And okay. So, like, I think the last time that I had sex on purpose was my birthday, like my birthday week. Sex on purpose, that's what we're calling it, right? Was my birthday week or my birthday month. I don't remember because the whole thing melded together really. And I feel bad for my partners, actually. I'm just not interested in fucking at this moment. I'm interested in like, you know, like not to be perpendicular to what like all this pull yourself up by the bootstraps while we're in this COVID-19 crisis. If you don't come out here with a skill, you ain't shit. Like, it's not that. I feel like for me though, this is the first time I've had space, time, and opportunity to examine my anxiety and say, hello, how you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? You look real cute in that robe for 4 days now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it looked like. Oh God,
yes.
Okay,
yes.
Like, I thought it was just me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I be out here, like, I've showered and I'm still going to put on the same clothes because I really don't feel like feeling today.
See, where I am, we cannot even go visit anyone.
Right.
So like
you live in an apartment building? I live in an apartment too, but mine is more a duplex. You live in a house? Okay.
I live in a house. I can't. So I have to really like rely on energetic connections and things like that to stay feeling connected to.
Right.
Yeah.
How are you sustaining yourself during this global pandemic? You know, I don't think that Black people, I can't talk about all Black people. I just don't think that we, like, as Black people, like this subset of Black folks I'm in, there's a lot of think pieces on the internet, but no one's talking about their feelings. Like, they're just like, I'm going to write this succinctly in a way for it to go viral, but no one's really just talking about their feelings. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if it was, it would just be small pockets of us going,
Yeah.
How are you sustaining yourself?
I am sustaining myself by letting go and just falling into it. Okay. I am free falling into it. I'm grabbing interesting things along the way. So I'm doing lots of shadow work right now.
Okay. What's shadow work?
Really dealing with some of the parts of myself that are traumatized, are toxic, that show up and I don't really want to look at them, or I don't want other people.
There can be self parts, parts inside of me that are toxic that I may not be examining because I'm not examining the shadows.
Them's the ones.
Are we gonna talk about that? Oh my God, because
so
a lot of personal work. This is me and my personal work, because it's easy for me to point the finger and be like, it was that bitch right there. Let me tell you all about it. And something I learned, you know, I was raised Pentecostal. Not a lot of people know that.
Wow.
And yeah, it's a little tragic.
I did not know that.
Thank you. I like when I share things with you, Fiyah, Angelou. And my pastor at the time used to tell me, you know, be careful when you point the finger at people, because you got 4 of the digits pointing back towards you. You're like this, but what is the part that you play in it? You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of always stuck with me. It probably wasn't a Christianity thing, but I had always thought about what he was saying, like, you know. And so when I find myself involved in conversations and situations, and I'm like, well, what did I do though? And people be like, bitch, you ain't do shit. I'm like, no, I had to have, in order for me to have this discourse, this conflict, even in my romantic relationship, in order for me to have reacted that way, I had to have done something, me personally, I had to have done something, whether it's allow the behavior, right? Or even engage in a relationship with this type of person, you know?
Yeah, you know, so it's that kind of healing. It's going into that stuff and being like, how come I sat there and dated this person at all? Like, how come I was valuing this kind of validation at all? And what I've really been benefiting from about shadow work is,
I love when you say you're benefiting from it. Tell us all about it, sis.
Well, not just the part where you find out, oh, here's where I'm responsible. Because that's not always where shadow work ends up. It doesn't always end up with how I'm responsible or how I'm at fault. It could be, here's where this pattern began with me. And it could be something that happened in childhood, usually, or, you know, at some point early on, and it stuck with us. So it doesn't just end at fault or blame. And also underneath that is the tools you need to heal. So when you lift it up and go, okay, here's this ugly thing, and I do this.
Oh, I just had a visual of all the things I need to lift up, and there are maggots crawling underneath there. I fucking hate you. Why do I share space with you, Fiyah?
I know, but listen, here's the good part. So when you lift it up, and you look, and after you cringe, and after you think about all the times people saw you like this, and you cringe, you find some really good tools there to use.
Right. Okay.
To help you when you are triggered in this way, or to use on a daily basis. You start to know what you need to function. I think that's one of the biggest things I know for me that I lost along the way after constantly being traumatized. I stopped knowing what I needed to exist, or I stopped trusting what I needed. Yeah. So shadow work has really helped me reclaim that.
Thank you for sharing that with me. When you speak, sometimes I feel like I hear a poet in you. And then I have to recall like pockets of information you share with me. And I have to recall that at the Black Women and Marginalized Gender Conference that me and Monica threw last year, and we invited you to be one of our speakers and like a workshop panelist. I mean, bitch, I don't know what the fuck you was doing, because I was.
It was amazing. It was
really
amazing.
I was like, did we do a good?
It was amazing.
I'm so happy that you was able to come and that the white people was ready and willing to fly you out.
I gotta go back to Boston.
Yes, come back. We love you. Come back. We gotta go eat steak and cheese sub. Come on.
Yes, it was so interesting. I mean, I wanted you to get back to your point, but speaking of like when we talked about James Baldwin earlier, it was Malcolm X real heavy for me when I was in Boston, and I didn't know why. And then when I got there, people start dropping like Boston Malcolm X facts on me. And
because we was gang with you.
I wasn't ready. I didn't know. They just start hitting me with it. And I gotta come back. When this
used to be in Dudley Square all the time.
Oh.
Definitely. In the beginning of that movie, where Denzel Washington was playing him, and they underneath the train station, that was Dudley. They was depicting Dudley back in the day. Don't let nobody tell you that shit was New York. It was like Roxbury. Put on for my city. No, it wasn't. I don't care. So
yes, I gotta come back.
I would love to have you. So what we were talking about, girl, I forgot what we were talking about, but it made me feel really good.
What are we talking about?
I want to talk about, when did we meet for the first time? Because, no. Let's go back to my question. Thank you. Because sometimes when you say, what was we talking about? Then I answer your question. Yes. That has been the nature of our relationship for quite some time. I'm like, what happened? And then what was I talking about? So I think about at the Black Women and Marginalized Gender Conference, you had said two things to me that have always stuck out with me. Number one, you told Free Marie, longtime host of 106 in Park, longtime Boston resident. Not a lot of people know she's from Boston. And you told her, like, while she was hosting our event, you expressed gratitude to her. And it was like, I was like, okay, we know Fiyah, she's great. And you was like, nah, we just all need to have a use this, like, and the way that you did it was like, you could tell in her face that the things you were saying to her really mattered to her. That you were saying, of all the years that we seen you on the show, dealing with misogyny, dealing with these men who probably just wanted to, no, I'm not trying to make you cry, but you inspired me to like be like, who in my life that I think is so great, right? But that I'm not seeing. You made this woman who has risen to the upper echelons. That's going to be my word for the rest of the year. This woman who has been in all of our lives since most of our early teens, my age group and your age group. You have told this woman how great she is just by looking at her and then forcing us also view her in the way in which your lens was. And number one, I just want to say thank you for
that. Yeah. Listen, you don't know how hype I was when I found out she was going to be there. Like, I could not stop talking about it. I told everybody 4 times, I'm going to meet free. Like, you don't understand.
Right.
How huge this is.
And you kept saying it, and I was like, she's just a regular person to me. But then I got what you were saying, because then she was like, oh, DiDi. And I was like, you know who I am? And she was like, of course, bitch. Like, you know, she's real humble. She's not as, you know, like, as pretentious as a lot of women who are in show business are. She's real humble.
She is. It was amazing to me, you know, to see her and to have that moment where she said she talked to people who were looking forward to me being there, right? So like that was weird, but to think that like all the niggas in like hip hop that we know for a fact today have done horrible shit, like they was on the show in her face, in her space.
Mm-hmm.
And we like watched her take them niggas on as long as she could.
Right.
Like her armor, like I didn't even know what she was doing when she was doing it.
Right. Because we didn't have that analysis, you know, and you look back on the episodes now and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, like I can't watch an episode. Like I can't even listen to half those niggas talk today.
Right.
And she was in spaces with them, not even to mention who she was co-hosting with. Like, dog, what have she been through?
Right, right.
So, and I just remember, like I said, being a young mom, working at McDonald's,
right,
sitting on my grandma's bed, watching 106 in Park on a TV this big. And when she left, I left.
You was like, the show's over.
It was over for me. It was what else? Right. I was done with BET as a whole after that.
Right. I just, you know, I think about that. You know, I reach out to her and asked her to be on the podcast. And I think about, you know, when I reach out to her, I did think about the things you were saying about how we need to see her as like, she was really a stalwart. She was before her time and she held space for so many Black women and we didn't even know. And like, ever since you said that, I just been sitting with it because I just look at her in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So thank you.
She was in front of these niggas with a blonde fro and some coochie cutters.
Right. They was like, we love to see it.
Her name was Free.
Right.
I know they was throwing darts at her.
Just you telling me this is just giving me chills all over again. And something else you said at the conference, when it was your turn to speak, I thought that I knew you. I don't know if you go through this, that people be like, they want to be your friends on the internet because they feel like they know you, or they feel like you're cool enough that if I hung out with you, we just go together like peanut butter and jam, right? But you opened your mouth and you told the entire conference that your baby daddy wrote a book of poems and you stole it and you published it. And bitch, I have never been able to forgive you for the laughter that I emitted from my belly that day. I was trying to be cute. I had on jeans that was too tight, bitch. I hate you still for that. Can you tell me about Like, tell us about like how that even like happened. Like, what did that nigga do to you that you was like all the poems this nigga wrote to you? You was like, you know what, Jamal? Fuck you. Like, I mean, like, you understand? Is his
That was
name
really
Jamal?
it. That was really it. You know, we were both poets, and
I know that story.
you know that story, okay? And it's some fuck ass cult leader, narcissistic ass shit, okay? So I
it's fucking
have
poets.
not been able to get like any child support or any type of like reparations. So he left me with some love bomb poetry. You know, this is a malignant narcissist who left me with some poetry from the love bombing phase, and even some poetry from the discard devaluing phase of narcissism is in there. And so I had that stuff, and it's good fucking poetry. I mean, if you just like poetry, it's good. He's a fine poet.
He's a fine poet. Bitch, how you got the baby daddy who's a fine poet? I hate it. I hate it here. Go ahead.
He's a fine poet. And I just was like, well, let me put him in a book and see if I could sell him. And so I don't know if he knows about it or not. He might, but I was doing a presentation somewhere, a workshop or something somewhere, and somebody from Friend of the Court who deals with child support told me they read the book. And I said, all of you should read the book. Everybody who works in Friend of the Court should read this book, because when I talk to y'all talk to me like I was a dumb hoe.
Right.
You talk to me like abuse don't happen to Black girls. You know, y'all all need to read this fucking book so that when you approach Black girls to help track down those baby daddies for child support, y'all can talk to them with a little more respect and some dignity, and stop acting like they didn't get fucking preyed on.
You said you spoke to me like abuse don't happen to Black girls.
Yeah. So all of them need to read that book.
And what's the name of the book again?
Poems from My Baby Daddy.
Come on now.
Love bombs. By my hair grower.
Yes, by my hair grower. I love it. What was you telling me about that some girl has that in her body? Like, what is that?
About we was talking about Madam C.J. Walker movie. Did you see it?
So you don't have to talk to me about my life. I watched the entire thing. I told Tamla about it, that I stayed up to 2:30. I'm not fucking with y'all hoes. I'm dedicated. And you know what? I understand the fight scene. I know everybody hates it, but I understand it because that's what goes through my head every single time a post pops up about me. I'm like, ding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm talking about. I know everybody hated the depiction.
It's very divided. The fight scene is very divided.
Where do you fall out on the spectrum?
I don't fuck with it because I feel like collectively our consciousness only sees it as light skin versus dark skin. Like, I feel like it's some niggas that can look at it and see some other abstract shit.
Because I feel
like a lot of niggas is like, oh, light versus dark. They don't understand what color, what's happening here.
Right. Like the layers that was happening. That it was some niggas that was involved that was fucking everything up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
And I think about that, you know, when you, okay. You was about to ask your next question.
I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I want you to finish
and then you took it back, and then we answered the other question.
No, I asked both questions. The first one was about free, is for you to like remind me of why you said it. And the second one, this is funny. And the second one, I wanted to know why you stole your baby daddy book of poems and published it. That was my second question. Right.
And then it was, when did we meet?
When did we meet? So I did ask that first, and then I paused because I was like, nah, I want to hear about the baby daddy story first, or whatever. Was that the first time that we met?
No, we met 2008. Was it 2018?
The first time I met you?
Physically.
Physically, in the flesh.
In the flesh.
My nigga, the first time I met you was at some crazy ass fucking women's march. Like, that's the first.
But what so like, I knew that was not the last time we would meet.
I thought it was gonna be the last time we was gonna meet. I was like,
I knew
sorry.
I knew that was how you felt after it happened.
I was like, yo, can we talk about this? We don't have to talk about everybody else. I just want to talk about the chasm that existed between me and you. Wow, Fiyah, I have never even thought about this because this is me to that situation. I'm voguing on it, you know, but you just bitch, you was like, I know you felt like that was the last time. I was like, why? You wouldn't know how that was. But bitch, now I remember. I think I reached out to you and I was like, I think I was Ferdinand the Bull when that nigga actually got angry. And I was like, bitch, let me tell you what you're not gonna do. And I was like, I'm very disappointed. You know, the way it translated to you was, Fiyah, I'm actually disappointed in you, spiritual light worker, you, all this, sage on top of it. Too much smoke for you, Fiyah. It's too much smoke for you. And I really can't understand why you and I don't see eye to eye on this. And I really thought that was the end of our relationship. I've been rocking with you for 2 years. And I thought that January 2019, I wasn't going to be fucking with you no more, Fiyah Angelou. I did think that. Why did we reconcile? Like, how did we even reconcile?
Because
reconciliation? Is this podcast a reconciliation?
No, I don't. I feel like Boston was. I feel like Boston was. I feel like talking even before Boston was, because it was one of those necessary things. You know, it was one of those necessary, painful things. And
very painful on both of us, I think, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that I kept saying when we were in the space, like, if we're gonna work together, we need a divination for us as a collective. We need a collective. We need to be listening to our ancestors because we can't all hear each other.
Right.
You know, our traumas and our toxicities are not aligning. We are not healed enough to have these conversations. So let it be above us.
Right.
You know, but I trusted your intuition very much. You know, I trust.
You trusted me even though I was mad at you? I didn't even understand why I was mad at you. I was like, this didn't feel right for me. I feel like I gotta blame someone. I didn't want to blame the person that I love the most. And so I was like, bitch, you is the healer. You was supposed to be helping me fix this shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, that's the stance I took with you if we had to really talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how was namaste, love and light, hoodoo, 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 over rocking everywhere? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you wasn't helping me. You wasn't on my side. Like, I was like, I don't care if I'm wrong. You gotta be on my side, my nigga. Like, and you was like, you was actually, not that I think about it, you do exactly what you was supposed to do. You was supposed to be at that standstill. You was supposed to be like, I'm not taking no one side here. What I'm doing is I'm seeing the whole thing, and I'm seeing that it's actually not as big as y'all niggas is making out to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, you know? And I never even I blocked the whole thing out. You bringing it up just now. I think y'all bitches think that I go through, like, when I contact you and be like, come on, be on my show. That I'd be like, let me go look through the whole fucking 4-year chat history to see if we ever had smoke. I don't think about that because I
know your heart. Like I said, I respect you as a king, you know. That's really my strategy. That's how I look at all of us. And that's how I make decisions about what's best for my kingdom. I see how you move and I respect you. Flat out, period.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know,
we seen each other,
That's it.
It was the same year though, Monica. It was the same year. It was, we talked about last year. Was it like, yeah, it was last year. So we seen each other in January. It was my first time meeting you in person. I had already had what Tamla calls illusions of grandeur about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, this bitch is about to make us all levitate. And we started off on a good note. We was in the house. It was that Ayanla Fix My Life house. I don't know what was happening. You understand what I'm saying? You had your like sticky pad paper board and you were like, it don't make sense how much power is in this room right now. We gotta mark it down. And I was like, I was negative as fuck. I was like, nothing positive is gonna come from this interaction.
But see, that was the thing. I was looking at the ideas. So when we made it to Boston, I was really just trying to be, I think that when I knew
it was like 7 months later. It was 7 months later. Yeah. We had patched it up enough that you and I could be in space at a Black women's conference where no Black woman was supposed to be left behind. And I had never spoken to you about what happened in January. Never.
I just knew that you had the idea then. I didn't expect you to share it, but I knew you had something. And it was probably something adjacent to that too. I don't know, bitch.
You pulled out your paper. You was like, bitch, whatever idea you have, we need to talk about it now in January.
Bitch, it was some shit we could have did. And I think that's what I saw in the Madam CJ Walker movie, what she was trying to say. And like, bitch, I tried to work with you. Like, I begged to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Wow, my friends are sitting here agreeing with you. Fuck you, Fiyah.
And that's the thing, you know, that's the shit I be on, like.
I didn't understand.
Like, again, okay, so again, with the pro-hoism, knowing when to be fake to go get a fucking bag for our community. Bitch, we all got, everybody in this bitch is a totem that represents a whole fucking community that need to eat. And we can't come up with a scheme. The ancestors put us in a room together and we can't come up with a motherfucking plot.
We fucked up January. We didn't fuck up January.
We are a disgrace.
We fucked up January.
Failing. I was like, Eartha Kitt is so disappointed right now. We are
listening to Eartha Kitt too with some motherfucking pro-ho ass old
We were
people.
Dropping the bag, DiDi.
Do you remember the song that Asia played that it was like some lady was like, and I gave him the clap. Like, I mean, we was
Lucille Bogan.
Can someone write that down? Like we was literally sitting here listening to shady ass, grimy ass bitches, and we, instead of us choosing to harness that and like push it outward, we was like, let's fight each other. You can take your little sticky note paper and shove it up your ass. I'm not doing this with you. Like, funny now, but it wasn't funny then.
I was just like, did I mention the founding fathers? I was like, nigga, Benjamin Franklin and them wrote that bitch ass Constitution. You didn't say that.
Oh my God.
We could write something that really slap.
I'm not writing shit with you, Fiyah, because none of these niggas in this room like each other right now. So what the fuck is you writing? What rules can you follow in practice? He was like, it's not about practice. We'll get there. I don't give a fuck.
It was, now see, Shadow Side, Love and Woke book.
You know, I love you when I love you. You understand what I'm saying to you? I love you when I love you. So when we got to Boston, it was 2 days of malarkey. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I actually got some quiet time alone with you. And I think that's interesting when you talk about shadow work, because shadow work, from what I understand you to say, it is the work that we each need to do in order to like lift up and say, hey, this is where we're at. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I seen you, I think I was supposed to take you to the airport. And, you know, niggas wanted to come with me, like, I'll go with you. And I was like, for some reason, I wasn't talking to my ancestors back then. Me and my ancestors is brand new together. Like, they've always been there for me, but I would say November, December, me just acknowledging them and being in a spiritual practice and actually cleaning my altar when I'm supposed to, all this shit, right? But mind you, you and I had been together in August at this point. And so I was like, nah, I thought I'm gonna take her to the airport. I have some things to talk about with her, because I just felt like, to me, it wouldn't have been a real conference and there have been real meaning behind it if I didn't have this necessary conversation with you about where I was struggling, what was coming up for me, and then to ask you, where does now what I'm saying to you now land with you now? And I'm not even sure that there was an apology involved in that. And I'm not also sure that there needed to be, because I feel like we needed to process. Now, bitch, you know, I have written public apologies. I have told bitches to their face, I'm sorry. And then my apology is that I'll do better. But this is the doing better. It's actually to be in this conversation and in these spaces with you. And you said something to me, but I'm gonna let you take the reins on this. You said something to me and you made me cry. Like, bitch, I thought I was coming to you to be like, listen, we just need to squash what happened in Albany and like just move forward. I'm sorry that I came at you grimy, and I hope you understand the reasons why I did, because I was protecting someone, you know, or I thought I was protecting someone. And you was like, nah, Albany needed to happen. And I was like, if this bitch levitate right in front of me, I swear before God, I'm punching her in her throat chakra. I swear to God, like.
It needed to happen, and Boston needed to happen. And I think that was like, you know, with the Malcolm thing, you know, I feel about like what was that moment when Malcolm sat down with Martin? Like, how did that feel?
Right.
Like, that's how I felt. Like, it wasn't like when we saw each other at the panel, that was one thing. When we hung out at the bar, that was one thing. But when you came to the house with the chickens in the backyard and we sat on the porch.
What did I call that? I was like, when we were in the white people's garden.
The white people's garden. Bitch, that, and see, let me say this.
I'm gonna name this podcast That Day in the White People's Garden.
The white people's garden. And I want the white people to understand, you know, one of the payoffs that they get, you know, since they must know what the cookies are.
They must know everything we doing.
They must know what the cookies are. And I feel like, you know, some of the white people I've been staying with as of late understand that when they offer their space up, they are benefiting from having the presence of like sacred Blackness in their space, right? And then these like, you're hosting spaces for like activists and artists and like healing folk, and you're getting the privilege to have their energy in your fucking home. Like, right. I know we bless the fuck out of them by being there. Everybody who stays
we should do a check-in to see if they got some money for us.
I'm sure they are reaping some type of, you know, they put their buckets out. They benefited from that. They have dazzling dinner conversations because we've stayed in their homes. You know what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
The legacy that we leave behind. Oh, DiDi Delgado stayed here. She hosted a whole flock of activists here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can say that. They can say that. And that's a beautiful thing.
Garden was the most meaningful thing. I think, you know, now that we're talking about it, that day in the garden was the most meaningful thing. Because you and I had a real ass conversation. And I think it was a long time. I think, so, you know me, I'm like not as metaphysical as you. I literally was on some shit like, I wish that this was the conversation that we would have had in Albany. And he was like, bitch, I was trying to tell you. You know? But I'm glad it happened when it happened.
Me too. I was so glad. I was so happy when you took me to Starbucks and you helped me get over my Starbucks anxiety by giving me an order that I could use.
All about that. Oh my God. You really did
gave me an order that I could use.
You got a grande caramel frappuccino with whipped and a little bit of drizzle and the caramel salted crunch on top. I'll never forget it because that's what I ordered.
Yes, I took a picture of it and I started ordering that. And then you took me to the ocean for 5 minutes. That was all we could get. But you knew it was important. You knew it was important. And see, that's the shit I'm talking about. That's the shit I'm talking about. That's king shit. That's the shit I'm talking about. You knew I was a Detroit bitch. And I was like, how y'all this close to the ocean? I was like, I don't understand how a city is this close to the ocean and nobody's like, oh, the ocean. Like, nobody mentioned the ocean. And you felt it though. You were like,
I didn't say nothing to you. I was like, I acted like we was going to the airport because that's where we were supposed to be going. And everybody in my house was annoyed because they was with Egypt for an extra hour. But I was like, I gotta go out of my way in order to take you because you told me you was like, oh, ain't the water? You had said it like when you first got here. You was like, ain't the Atlantic? Like, I was like this bitch ain't never seen the ocean. Like, you know. You was right. We all were taking it for granted. You've never even seen it.
I had never seen it.
That's wild to me. I had to take you. And you just looked so... You looked like you were experiencing joy. You had stones for your children. It was just... For me, it was really meaningful. And Egypt still plays with the red lava rock that I found. Egypt will still walk around with that red lava. It's mine, mommy. It's mine. I'm like, we know. We know, baby. It's yours.
Yeah. And it was such a good feeling. Like, I just knew that that water was connected to my home and like how my people got here. And it was just like so powerful to touch it and feel it. And I'm gonna get closer, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta come back in the summer when it's actually hot. Because you came in August and we was all suffering. I said, we gotta go back in the car.
Yeah, and then somehow we gotta get to Nigeria, we gotta get to Cameroon.
I think you're my cousin. That's all I'm saying. I feel like Tupac in Poetic Justice. I'm like, cousin!
Gotta go home now.
I think that we have the same nose structure.
Huh?
I said, I think that we have the same nose structure. I'm like,
yes.
It. I've always wondered why my nose is shaped like this. And now it's because I was destined to be your cousin. It's fine. It is what it is.
Here we are.
Here we are. I wanted to ask you about being an artist, right? And like your website, if you go to www.fiyahangelou.com, whoever did the imagery and took those photos of you, the ancestors actually have a large blessing in their life. That is such a beautiful photo. And I actually wish that you would exploit the fuck out of that photo. You just look, I don't know what you look like. You just look amazing.
That is from Freedom School. I invited you and we were supposed to have another one this year. So hopefully when all this is over, we can do it again. I
feel like you're full of shit. I don't get invites from you. I didn't get invites. Let me tell you something. I didn't get an invite to your Beyonce, Lemonade, baby daddy birthday shower. I was like, wow, this bitch just threw a whole baby shower on the internet and did not even invite me. Wow.
Well, that was my first time doing like Facebook organizing. And I didn't know that it was gonna happen. Like, I was just like, hey.
Hashtag digital activism.
Yeah, it was just like, Beyonce baby getting love. It's some babies in the hood need some love.
Yeah. I was like, how the fuck she
And
have
people
a baby
all
shower?
over the country was like, you right.
Right.
You about to do a baby shower over here. We're going to do a baby shower over here. And some people have continued to do them.
No, you're right. It's so funny because at the small nonprofit that I work at, you know, these white people constantly be like, get a job. And I'm like, I wish I didn't work there sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the small nonprofit that I work at, they were talking about doing a community baby shower. And it's like, boy, Fiyah just pops up into my conversations every day, don't she? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, do a community baby shower, like, you know. So
and it's so interesting, you know, when you think about like how you do this level of organizing in the midst of like major depressive episodes, in the midst of, you know, whatever type of mental illness symptoms you may have, you still doing projects. And sometimes I look, when you just said that, when I think about the fact that I lifted that with, you know, with support, right? But still, I was not okay.
Okay.
Wow.
And I feel like it's so weird that you say that. Not weird that you shared it. I'm glad you shared it. Because it's like, we're like, trauma? What trauma? I mean, I once shared a status one time about an experience that I went through where this girl said to me, hey, I know that, like, you know, you're at capacity, but like, what does it look like for me? And I was like, sure, okay, how can I help? You know, no one gets why I didn't mean it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think that Black women, we say, you know, we are not your mules, and then we do mule ass shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to stop it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, my Latuda sometimes don't be speaking up for me when I need to say no. Like, I need to like work on my boundaries. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be like, nope, I actually need to take a nap today. I have the opportunity to take a nap for an hour and a half. And it's so funny because Tobias told me the other day, Tobias like, you didn't even take a nap, did you? And I was like, wow, y'all really out here checking for me to take a nap. And today I said, I got an hour and a half between the time I interview Fiyah and sleep. And it did not happen because then people were binging me. Hey, I want to be on the podcast. And I was like, really? You like me? You feel me like this? Oh my God. And then next thing I know, it was like 7:30. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm amazed at what we're able to do when we do it together.
Yeah. And I found it helpful for me when I've been able to aim for much shorter naps now, right? So
much shorter naps?
Yeah. And I think, okay, I'm gonna be metaphysical here too. So like a 20-minute nap, I put a little frequency in the background, go on like YouTube and find a little
2.57 mH megahertz. I don't know what the fuck that shit means, but I'd be like, I'm on a frequency.
Yeah, you know, and then like set your alarm for like 20 minutes. Cause you know you're not about to take no nap. Set your alarm for 20 minutes. Can you just act light-skinned and just ignore everybody for 20 minutes?
Did you say, can I act like Egypt?
For 20 minutes? For 20 minutes?
Yeah, I could do that.
20 minutes.
I fill my time with so much everybody else. And I really need to work on filling my time. I know a lot of people think I'm self-centered. But there's no way that I can actually be self-centered because there's not enough time. I wish I had the time for it. You know, I took, to be completely honest, remember what I just told you, that I took the time that I was supposed to take? I'm answering people's emails. I'm reaching out to people on Twitter, thinking that they're not going to get back to me for like 2 weeks. And they write back to me, of course, I'll be on the show. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my God. Like, you know, and so I'm like bugging out. And then by the time I come and sit down with you and I turn on my laptop, I'm like, okay, it's 7:20, let's do this. And you like, beautiful, and your eyebrows are done, and you did your CVS nail polish. And we experiencing a nail saga over here where this one has been soaked off and this one still exists, you know. I was like, I can't go on Beyonce's internet with this beautiful human being looking the way that I looked. I looked like I had been in pajamas for 4 days. I did.
Oh yeah.
I had to look like it.
Oh yeah. This is the revolution.
This is the revolution.
This is what it looks like.
And bitch is being televised. Look at it. Like,
the revolution. Listen, this is what it looks like. These are our apocalypse outfits.
I didn't think it would look like this.
This is it. And yeah, it is it's some radical shit. It's some I think the descendants will be grateful that we were resilient in this way.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, what's your opinion on sage versus Palo Alto? There's a conversation happening. That's so nice. My bitch came and put a long stick of ice in my drink, and I appreciate that.
You know what? Can I step away and go get my drink and then come back?
Please go get your drink. I think that that's actually the most important thing. I'll entertain folks.
Okay, but you were saying, you were asking me a question.
I don't remember the question. I asked you a question. Oh, yeah. So there's a conversation happening in Hoodoo right now about
sage or Palo Santo?
Yes. Like what Palo Alto is California. I meant Palo Santo.
Palo Santo?
Yes. So there's a conversation because they're saying that sage doesn't really belong to us. It's more of an indigenous. And I really don't like the word indigenous as like a separator, but I think I get what people mean. I feel like Blacks are indigenous to certain countries too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when we say it, it's like we're giving a certain deference because we're here on indigenous soil, but we don't really talk about how we were stolen from indigenous soil. So I have my own thoughts about that. But I know that there's a conversation in Hoodoo right now about Palo Santo versus sage. What your thoughts were, because I have all the things. It's actually on the floor behind. So I have both because I'm not playing out here just in case one or the other doesn't work. Like, you know,
I am very low on supplies. So if anybody who is watching, like y'all sell, you know, herbs or myrrh, fragrances, if anybody watching you sell that kind of stuff, please put it below because I'm low on the things. And I use mostly Palo Santo, okay? Like,
okay.
I sometimes use the loose leaf sage. My kids don't like the smell of sage, so I don't
like the smell of sage. I'm like, who the fuck is this for?
Yeah, my kids don't like it, so I hardly use it. But sometimes I use the little sprigs when I'm out doing Reiki, doing tarot, that kind of thing. And then
Tamla said you was doing Reiki to Patti LaBelle the other day.
Huh?
Tamla said you was doing Reiki to Patti LaBelle the other day. You had Anita Baker on while you was doing energy work. Whose auntie are you? That's what I really need to know. Like, I have questions.
Listen, I believe in music and energy work. The two, I really hope I could find a way to get more artists to supply music for energy workers to use via this kind of medium.
Okay.
So that copyright infringement doesn't happen, but
because that's what happens. You start playing the music, right? And then Facebook niggas get mad. They were like, excuse me, we heard it because we're listening to all your conversations anyways, and this belongs to someone.
Yeah, and I'm like, so what I just try to do is I just try to let people know ways they can combine music that they listen to with certain energy. Like we was listening to when you was getting ready, we was listening to Jackie O, a little Jackie O.
It was a little switch too.
Yeah, a little switch,
your name,
but
I only knew that because Ada called it out.
I had put on the Jackie O because I have been experimenting with Jackie O and Jezebel root.
Come on, ho on ho.
I remember, right?
Ho on ho violence.
I remember the trick from my 20s. that I would, when I wasn't so aware of ancestors and magic and energy, all that shit, Jackie O,
Sugar Walls,
Gangsta
Jackie O.
Boo.
That's what you're talking about. Sugar Walls, Jackie O.
Jackie O, Gangsta Boo, and it's one more.
Wasn't Gangsta Boo signed to No Limit? Mia X?
Mia X was signed to No Limit. Gangsta Boo.
3-6 Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that I'm such a bird that I know all this.
Yes, Jackie O, Gangsta Boo, and Foxy Brown. Those bitches will always, if you play like those music with like money, their music with like money manifestation, they get your money from very unexpected sources, like really kind of shy, you know, customers. If you're a sex worker, like customers who might be just kind of lurking in the peripheral, but they ain't put up no money yet. Like this is a good, these bitches will draw your money out. You want to listen to them.
You want to listen. So let me tell you something. You said a word 2 times, and I'm going to tell you why. It's about the same person. When you said Foxy Brown, I thought about immediately how I'm such a bird. I reached out to her to be on a show. I was like, dear Ing, can I call you Ing? I don't know. I was like, I'd like for you to be on the show. I said, because your song, My Life, changed my entire like peripheral on like how I saw myself as a Black girl growing up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the second thing is, I think about what you just said, and I you know, I be in the groups and I'm like listening to like money manifestation songs. But Foxy Brown for me was the money conversation. She was like, I can't fuck with you no more. How can I love you? I can't even trust you. She was like, so he played you right. He shot a little game, then he blazed it right. Talk about he was gonna make you wife and then make you right. The last thing you see was heartbreak lights. He fooled you, girl. Pussy is power. Let me school you, girl. Don't get up off of it till he move you, girl. And let no playing nigga rule your world. Fool you, girl. I got him hating me. I throws the pussy down, keep him chasing me. Basically, niggas game a lot. So bet I game back and make that nigga think that I came a lot. And yo, like she would just like broke it down for you. Like if you needed to know how to be a hoe real quick, Foxy Brown's albums is where it was at. Because she was running these niggas for their money.
She, you know, I listened to her the other day and I was like, you forgot yourself. You forgot.
Come on, Ingrid.
Like, you know, so I'm not gonna go out there and do that now, right? But
right.
I can play her music. I can have that intention.
And you can manifest.
Those lyrics that you dropped, yes. Repeat that shit. Like when she said, I don't play. I watch them pockets. No, you niggas go broke when you cop them
watches.
Yeah, like she
Why are we so like this?
I appreciate that. And I just feel like over the years, like I've been playing around, like posting Cardi B lyrics. And I was in the car and my ancestors was like, no, bitch, it was Cardi B that ever got you no money. It was Jackie O that got you money. It was Gangsta Boo. It was Foxy Brown. It was these dark-skinned bitches that got you money. You better act like you know.
Even little Kim's queen bitch, you know, she was like, Peter Piper pecked him. I bet you Biggie bust him. He probably tried to fuck him. I told him not to trust him. You know, like she was just like she was ready. And even in the one she did with Diddy, she was like Jaja Gabor, Demi Moore, Prince Diana, all them rich bitches. Like, you know, she was just like, give me the money and I follow in the E class with the goggles. Like, you know,
she was so.
We need to remember.
She was so incredible. She was so bad. You know, I hate the way hip-hop niggas broke her down. Hip-hop niggas broke her down too. You know, when niggas be like, oh, look what she did to herself. I'm like, no, we did that to her. The Black community did that to her.
I heard she's coming for Bad Baby because Bad Baby's out here talking about no disrespect. And I'm like, but like anytime somebody says no disrespect, but
they mean all disrespect. Or disrespect.
Right. That's what they mean. That's what they mean. I had asked Anna Smith said, Fiyah, I love your facial mole placement. You are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Anna. Thank you. Somebody said sage in the winter.
Sage in the winter. You know what's funny? I feel like I don't know who said it because I haven't rolled up, but my best friend's daughter's name is
Crystal.
Sage.
Crystal said sage in the winter.
Oh, didn't I just say my best friend's daughter's name is Sage Winter? That's her daughter's name is Sage Winter.
Oh, Sage Winter. I thought that was a recipe. I was like, oh, okay. Sage in the winter then.
You and her are the same. Like, that's why I think I deal with y'all so well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's true. As an artist, like, I think one of my last questions would be, as an artist, what would you say when you talk about manifesting? You know, I think about these little, what you call these little whack ass $500 grants, you know, that they be giving you. What kind of art are we looking forward to? Because Fiyah about to manifest a sandstorm around these niggas. Like,
yes, I am looking forward to like manifesting like a digital community for sure, and also a real life artist community. A place for retreat. I love what Tamala is doing. I want to go there. I want to learn from that. To have places for ritual, to have places for housing for those of us who need it. I am ready to just get some land and chill, you know, like live my life, you know, get a couple of chickens.
She don't want to chill her.
And some goats and roll out. That's what I'm ready to do.
You just want to be friends with the chickens and goats. Okay.
That's what it would look like. That's really what it would look like. A place where I provide, a place where we provide healing ongoing. You know, there is no wrong doors. Somebody could walk in really heavy. I want to
Ada said you was looking forward to Celie and Nettie vibes.
That's so happened in Boston. It's so happened in Boston. Like, I feel like our inner child played with each other.
Right.
On the beach, picking up those stones. Like, I feel like it was the little girl inside of you, the little person inside of you, the little person inside of me. And we was just running along the beach as fast as we could, grabbing stones. Yes, it was definitely one of those moments. It was powerful. Powerful. Yes.
Thank you for saying that. This is the part of the evening where we're ending, and I have to ask you a question because a lot of people don't do this. You know, I listen to podcasts my entire life, right? And I know that people feel like they've done the show because they did it and they put the topics out there, they did this and did that. What I want to know from you is there anything that you feel that we haven't talked about that you would like to talk about? And do you feel like there's a question that I haven't asked you that you wish I would have asked you? And then the second part of that question is, who would you like to see on the podcast next?
I'm very looking forward to the lineup that you have. Okay. I feel like everything that you've asked me has been in the time it was supposed to be asked.
Okay.
The only thing I would like to ask publicly is the same thing I asked privately, is that I come back in the future.
You want to come back in the future?
I would like to come back in the future.
I'm glad you said it because I wanted to talk to you about this. Wanted to know who it belonged to, but I feel like it wasn't the right time to get into that. So we're going to come back to that.
Okay. So
for those of y'all who are visually impaired, I just held up a copy of the book Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall.
So I'm looking forward to the whole list. I'm even gonna watch that show. I hope they're watching.
If she says yes, I've asked her to come on the show. If she says yes.
Yeah, we'll see. I would like to see Baby Mutha on the show.
Can you text me her information or link me to her?
Yes. I would like to see Baby Mutha on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, and
trying to have a mixture of stories. Because, you know, when we pause it and we do the elevator pitch for this, it's really like community-based learning on an academic level, but academic to me means like however you learned it. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people do this university thing. I put the university in quotation marks because I feel like I didn't really have the opportunity to go to school, you know?
I always appreciated you for that. I always appreciated you for your position on academics. And it's
niggas be hating when I bring up that conversation.
Yeah, but like, did you say you was going back to school? Me too.
Okay. I was like, don't guys me out.
And I'm not saying that to I'm saying that to say, like, so I asked my homegirl the other day, I know we gotta go, but I said what they gonna do when bitches like us finish school? You know, when they told us we couldn't sit at these tables, when they told us we couldn't come in these rooms, what they gonna do when we finish school? And my homegirl said they gonna let you in.
They don't got no choice.
They don't got no choice. But I hope you know.
I'm nervous.
I'm bringing ruckus.
Yes, bring the ruckus. Niggas don't know I got 19 more credits, and then I'm going back for my double masters.
I'm going back on that ass. I'm going back on that ass.
I'm so mad that you brought that up. That's the only part I hate is when niggas ask me
what
questions.
Will you do when I'm an academic?
I love Lucy was on the show last night, and she was saying that she's a community scholar, and when she explained it, I loved it so much, you know. So Fiyah, thank you so much for sharing the space with me. I'm gonna respect her time. I'm gonna try to continue to respect everybody else's time. Thank you for sharing this with me, and of course I would love to have you back. I would love to have all my guests back. We're gonna see what happens. I'm really shocked. I am shocked that I'm booked until the end of May. Like, I really did not even think. My nigga, I did not. When I was writing to people, I was like, and I'm glad the ancestors gave me the green light. And also, I know that you are the fruits of your labor. So what is happening? Like, you know?
I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all. I'm going to get that to you, what we talked about, because you're going to be too busy in a minute. So I'm going to get all the shit I need to you now.
I love you so much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. I love you
too. Thank you for this. Thank you.
Of course. And y'all can find Fiyah's PayPal information on the link. And when I upload it to the podcast series, I just got an email while I was on the phone with you that my logo is ready. All the things. So thank you so much. This has been another episode of The Full Set. I hope